Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and time you are coming across this video. If you're new to this channel, please can you subscribe and click on the notification body. In this episode, I'll be sharing with you on what Pastor Paul Odoma explained that Dr. Abel Damina did not anoint Pastor Paul Enenche ministry. I would like you to hear from the man of God himself.
Thank you very much. I think I've been opportunity to privilege to know Dr. Abel Damina and Dr. Paul Enenche way back, as far back as 1994 was the first time I think Dr. Paul Enenche came into the picture of Dr. Abel Damina. And as at the time Dr. Paul came into the picture, he was already a man of God in his own right. I have a particular handling where Dr. Paul featured as a guest speaker. Yes, he was already a guest speaker. That was in 1995. It was in that handling, there's one pastor called Dr. Friday Younger. In 1990, Dr. Paul came into the picture as already a minister of the gospel, fireful and vibrant, that often attends the conferences that Dr. Abel organizes. There was this just prayer conference that was going on then, that Dr. Paul comes around. So when the movement Idola became in church, Dr. Paul came in as an associate minister. Sometimes he goes on and preach, you don't get to see on Sunday. If it's around and just he comes into the service. And I had the opportunity to invite Dr. Paul to come minister for us in 1995 in logistics. He was then a man of God in his own right. He came in that meeting with Dr. Becky, his wife, and with Idola, his daughter, this time that was 1995. As you see then that a man was anointed, was thankful, was a man of God in his own right by all standard. So we have the opportunity of coming around Dr. Joshua Damina and Reverend Dr. Abel Damina. And obviously, I must say this, obviously, it was very clear, very apparent that it was different. It was different from us in so many ways that I can mention here. It was different in his lifestyle.
Before we proceed, I would like to say one thing. Say, Dr. Pastor Paul Enenche was different from them. Things when they do, they different from what them themselves did do. That Paul Enenche was different in so many things, according to Paul. Let's continue so that we hear what the man is saying.
That he had a ministry that definitely was going to be global. Because of his approach to ministry that was quite different from ours. It's very strict and very high standard of living that to a very large extent was different from us. Because we quite young men then, and it was quite different. So what he's doing today, I'm not surprised. And if Dr. Abel is claim to have, training or probably ordain Dr. Enenche, I want to say this that when a man that had his own ministry and was already in ministry, associated with that one content time, it does not translate the fact that he in ministry. It's just like saying that John the Baptist called Jesus into ministry. On transit to the mountain, they had the opportunity to meet John the Baptist. The first, they must know that Jesus was not for the purpose. So whatever we see today, I think Dr. Paul Enenche had it, and he was very intentional about it. Why Muslims? And today we can see the evidence for Muslims. I will say this with process of sincerity. That Dr. Paul Enenche at the moment is one of the greatest voices we have in the body of Christ. And for me, I think he is more or less like the common father of our faith. Because of that, like it or not, the older generations are certainly going to keep our faith out. But he is more the common father of faith that we now have, that the generation my generation of ministers are looking up to, because of what he epitomizes, what he has been able to accomplish tirelessly to God, lives that he has taught, and the country he has gone. But the president of the country is got his attention, and I think such a man should be given the honor to him. And so, in the light of Abel's comment and whatever which regards to Dr. Enenche, I think completely started.
Thank you for watching the video from Pastor Paul. The problem here is that Apostle Joshua Talina went further to explain furthermore that both Pastor Paul Udoma and Pastor Paul Enenche was anointed by Pastor Dr. Abel Damina. Now the question here is that Pastor Idoma came forward to come and mention that Pastor Paul Enenche was doing well as a minister, but his voice was not heard. Him be they come outside for flyers, him be they go program, but people be no know. Him be they come demonstrate power, but nobody sabi am. Him they do things, but they never dey hear him name. Let's be saying I ain't carry and come, class say my pikin come. Make I help you, make I put you for waiting then they do. Now be apostle. Now be apostle waiting. Apostle Abi, I'm not sure not be apostle be name. Now be Pastor Paul. No. Now be Dr. Abel Damina. Now carry the young man come. Bring her for program, help her. In get to that stage. When dinner, Apostle Paul Udoma no add that one for wetin he talk. Wetin he just talk, be say just clarify ourselves, see that Pastor Paul Damina was associate pastor to Pastor Abel Damina. You know, if you be associate pastor for person be say no be your oga. Whether the person anoint you or the person no anoint you, acknowledge the fact that you have worked with this person. Acknowledge the fact that this person was one time your father. Because you cannot work as an associate pastor in a church that you do not believe on the man of God. It's not possible. So you have to believe on a particular man of God before you walk under the man of God. You have to believe on the grace of this man of God before you walk under the man of God. In other words, there was a time in prophet, there was a time in pastor Paul Enenche life that Dr. Abel Damina was his spiritual father, because he walked under his ministry before he went ahead to go and open his own. From my own suggestion, I will see that Pastor Paul Enenche worked under Dr. Abel Damina as an associate pastor. Somebody will not bring you in his ministry as an associate pastor, and the person will not anoint you as a pastor in his ministry. It's not possible. Second thing I want to say is that Pastor Paul Udoma went further to explain so many things. Fine. But the mistake he made was that he did not acknowledge the fact that Dr. Abel Damina was the one that anointed that Abel Damina with him. And Paul Udoma, that Dr. Abel Damina was the one that anointed them in ministry and released them to go open their own church. He did not include that word in his interview. You know, I'm not supporting Abel Damina and I'm not supporting anybody, but the fact still remains that Dr. Abel Damina is a man of God and you should respect him. Dr. Paul Enenche is a man of God, you should respect him. But the problem is that Abel Damina, if Pastor Paul Enenche have refused that you did not ordain him in ministry, why not you allow him? It's not do or die affair. Ministry is not by force. Ministry is not someone you force someone to accept that you are his spiritual father or spiritual mother. It's not by force. So what I'm trying to say is that Apostle Paul Udoma have explained so many things to us. That Dr. Abel Damina was not lying when he said that Paul Enenche walked with him in his ministry. You know what about ministers? Once you are big, you are big. Once you are big, you forgot the person that brought you in the ministry. Please like and subscribe to this channel.